Right, it's 21 November 2021, and today I'm joined by my usual guest, Mr. Panganai Mhlanga. How are you, sir?
No, I'm good, pardon. How are you, my friend? It's been a great week for me, actually. Thank you very much for that. Is my
Fantastic.
sound perfect? Yeah, is my sound perfect from your side?
Everything's good. And I think
Yeah.
let's go straight into this issue. We want to wrap this up very, very quickly. We want to look at the recent developments in the Sybeth Musengezi court case, where he's challenging the ascendancy of President Mnangagwa into the ZANU-PF presidency and consequently into the Zimbabwe presidency. A lot has happened this week. Were you observing what was happening?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let's start with the article that came out widely in the newspapers that the lawyers of President Mnangagwa have challenged or have threatened to, I don't know if we can say to sue or to come down hard on the lawyers of Sybeth Musengezi, and they've told them to stop with that case. What do you think about that threat or that letter?
Well, according to the lawyers, the response from Sybeth's lawyers, they're calling it bullying. The way I see it, the ZANU-PF lawyers actually do have a right to do that, but it comes down to the point where we need to discuss the point where is it really necessary to do that? Because the Section 98 of presidential immunity, that's what they're using to sue Sybeth's lawyers. But is it really necessary? That's my question. Is it really necessary to do it? That's the question. Then it has to be taken out from the whole perspective. It will be dealt with. It have to be dealt with separately. That's how I think. They can do it. They've got the right to do it, to sue. But from side by side, they're calling it bullying. That they are trying to tell us what not to do. That's
okay.
What side by
so yeah, you know what? I think we need to look at it from a political perspective. Is this a political case or is this a legal case? I think this is where we need to go, because you saw the post by Terence Mkupe during the week, in which he was supporting Sybeth Musengezi. Do you think that there is more happening behind the scenes, given that Terence Mkupe apologized to Grace Mugabe? Is there a bigger thing happening there behind the scenes?
Yeah, apologizing to Grace Mugabe does not mean anything, because Grace Mugabe is nothing right now. The president of Zimbabwe is Mnangagwa. And actually, Section 98, it was about presidential immunity. So we cannot bring Grace Mugabe into this whole perspective, because she doesn't change anything. She's not she's not a factor into our politics. Robert Mugabe was a factor into our politics, not Grace Mugabe. So him apologizing to her does not mean anything. It doesn't change anything. It's just apologizing to another human being as it is. She's not anybody on Zimbabwean politics side. So for me, that's how I think.
Okay, but there's something else he said before he apologized to Grace Mugabe. I think let's go through the apology, because I think there is more that we need to dig into. Terence Mkupe knows that ZANU-PF is a military organization. It's not a political organization. And I think many of us understand that there is a hierarchy in ZANU-PF, and those who are at the bottom cannot openly challenge those at the top. It's a hierarchy of military, and that is to preserve order. Otherwise, there'll be chaos. So let's look at what I'm displaying now, what Terence Mkupe said. In as much as I believe in the cause, which for me was not about getting President Mnangagwa into office. It was about protecting our democratic space and allowing the renewal of ZANU-PF and having a clear succession plan. Do you hear what this guy is saying? He's talking about renewal in ZANU-PF and succession plan. Is this not what we're seeing here, that there is a group of people within ZANU-PF that think that there's no clear succession plan and there needs to be renewal in ZANU-PF?
Wow, the succession plan from Robert Mugabe was actually dealt with when the Central Committee had a meeting and declared E.D. Mnangagwa as the interim president. I think we have talked about it later on. And also, you know what I learned in life was when I was doing economics was ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus, you just you hold all other things constant, whereby you take out all these conspiracy theories, whatever you think about. What is important is E.D. Mnangagwa was actually elected into the office by the people of Zimbabwe. Whatever people think about how he was, and those conspiracy theories or with regards to rigging, whatever it is, those are part of the ceteris paribus, where we don't talk about those things. We don't have to talk about those things. What we have to believe in is ED is the president of Zimbabwe. So whatever they are using right now, under Section 98 of our Constitution, the president enjoys immunity and he cannot be challenged. He cannot be held accountable to anything right now. So that's what we have to believe in. So whatever these people are coming up with, I do not understand. I know, like even Jonathan Moye himself, a professor himself, I do not understand what he's thinking, a professor himself. These are just facts on the ground. You have to work with the facts on the ground. And it is what it is. So everything, we hold it constant. Ceteris paribus. ED is the president of Zimbabwe, and he has got presidential immunity, and he was elected and is actually regarded as the president of Zimbabwe under AU, under OAU, under the United Nations.
Okay, but this is the point I'm trying to make, that this is not a legal case.
No,
this is
it's
a
not.
Political case. So
yes, it is.
Is this not an attempt to embarrass E.D. Mnangagwa? And I want to take you to what happened in Zambia. I don't know if you saw that clip from Zambia yesterday.
No, I might have missed it.
Okay, let me play it for you quickly. I've got a short clip of it, and I want to then take it from there.
Here we go. Something's happening. These are heartfelt negotiations.
Right, you saw that clip.
Yeah, I saw that clip. Right, I've got challenges. I've got challenges.
That clip is not from an outsider. That clip is from someone inside, because it was taken before he went into the public, right?
Yes, but I've got problems with that clip. I'm not sure if I can comment on that clip, because I really need to look at the graphics on that clip, because there's some white lines that are on ED. So if you're doing graphics, I'm not quite sure about it to comment and say things, but there's something, because ED always wears the scarf, the Zimbabwean scarf. So why was he wearing a tie differently? Why was he wearing a tie differently? Because he has always been wearing his scarf with the Zimbabwean flag on that clip. So for me,
but the point I'm trying to make is, there's someone who wants to spread to embarrass ED, basically. Is that not what this is all about? This whole case is it not part of a concerted effort to paint ED in a certain way, not really legally, but to keep bringing different things from different angles until people start believing that ED is not the right person to be in office?
Yeah, you're right, 100% there. It's all about shifting narrative, right? Because there are a lot of things that I was looking at. Unfortunately, when you said the clip, right, my sister actually did show me the clip, right. There's the white line on ED. That's as a graphics designer, I just want to. It's constant for me. It's a constant white line on his cheek, right? It's more like Photoshop or something like that. But as a graphics designer, but you know what? If it is what it is, it is what it is. That's what I'm saying. If it is what it is what it is. But what I'm saying is there's a lot to be desired on that clip, to be examined further. But like I said, EG always wear the scarf. And why was he not wearing the scarf that he always wears?
Oh,
You
they're
know,
saying it's because he was drunk.
That's the narrative that I'm talking about, shifting narrative to believe that you are being led by a drunkard. That's the narrative. That's what people want people to believe in. People are shifting narrative. They want you to believe that you are being led by a drunk, which is not true. So for me, on that clip, but if it is what it is what it is, then I'll condemn it as it is. If it was him, it has been proven. If we can prove that it was him, then we know it is what it is. But for me, like I said, there's a lot on the face there, on the face. When you look at the face itself, there's a white line there that is constant. If you're a graphics designer, I think most people will understand that. When I'm talking about graphics design, you understand the constant line that is projecting on his face. If you look at that line, it's just constant. But if it is what it is, then it is what it is. Then we will condemn it as it is. Then that's bad. But the scarf itself, that's another factor. Why was he not wearing the scarf that he always wears? So that's not him.
Okay. Right.
We'll look into
let's wrap
that.
this up.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah. I think let's wrap this up. I think for this week, we have obviously said that there's a new twist in the case, and this case is probably going to die a natural death if the letter written by Mnangagwa's lawyers to the lawyers of Sybeth Musengezi is successful. They're saying that this case is frivolous, it must be dropped. And they're citing, obviously, as you say, that ED has immunity. There's no way that he can be sued in court.
No, he can't.
Then we also went to the issue of Terence Mkupe, who supported the case against ED. And I must mention that Terence was in class with me at NAST. Very, very intelligent young guy. I think when Mkupe came to NAST, we were surprised why he was at NAST instead of at Harvard. He was very, very bright.
Yeah.
And Mkupe, basically, in my view, he has done something that has never been done, which is to challenge the hierarchy in ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF people rarely speak up in the way that he did. And especially in this case is not one where you just open your mouth and you just start talking, because it's got severe and unpredictable consequences. And the dynamics behind it are unknown. You never know who are the key players behind the case. So for him to come out in support of this case, to me, it was very, very interesting. I actually tried to call him and ask him what was the logic behind this, and he didn't respond to my questions. So you were saying that it doesn't matter. His apology to Grace Mugabe is nothing because Grace Mugabe is no one.
Nobody.
And
she's nobody. She's nobody. She ceased to be nobody 2017 when we removed Robert Mugabe from, and everybody supported it. I do not understand why people now like doing this when we all went to the streets and supported the removal of Robert Mugabe. The whole nation, even Chamisa himself, everybody went out. So I do not understand why we have to concentrate on people who are nobody. She's nobody. She's a nobody.
Okay, then let's go to the last part of, obviously, that this case is not a political case. It's not a legal case. It's a political maneuver by somebody or by some people. And there's also attempts to embarrass Idi Mnangagwa. And I think, as we said, we saw that clip, that the way it's been put out, it's from inside. It's not from the outside. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
No, I think people want to believe the face value of what they see, right, and not critically think about it. And that's the challenge about us Zimbabweans. And people are taking advantage of how most people think, like putting that thing as it is. People will believe it is what it is, but not critically thinking and analyzing and not understanding exactly how it actually works. Like I've pointed two things: the scarf and the lighting. Those are critical thinking aspects people should be looking at if they know about it. But if they do not know about it, then they will believe that it was our president who was drunk over there, which is something else. And it doesn't make sense, For me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. We have to analyze that video properly. And I'm going to download that video and I'm going to put it on my Corel Draw and I'm going to expose it as it is. But if it is what it is, like I said, if it is what it is what it is. But I'm going to analyze it on graphics designer perspective and do it properly. But if it is what it is what it is. But I've pointed out things that I've seen on that video only, the lighting and the scarf, which is wrong. And it's all about shifting perspective and narrative to believe that we are being led by a drunk, because people do not have strategies. What they can do is to use tactics like that. But then for me, if it was ED drunk like that, I'll condemn it as it is. But if it was not them, I'll come back to you, pardon, and tell you this is fake, and I'm capable of doing that.
Okay, Mr. Panganai Mhlanga, I'm so happy to have had you today on a Sunday, and I don't want to take so much time. Afro Hot Mic, that's your platform. You also have a new platform. Where else are you? Where can we find you?
I think we spoke. Let's stick to Afro Hot Mic now. So remember we talk about the issue being a part-time DJ, right? Then I said,
yes.
Okay, I think this is more political. Let's stick to that so that people won't hate me because of any affiliation that I might have towards ZANU-PF or anything that they think that I might have. But we always discuss facts, right? So
yeah, there's nothing wrong with ZANU-PF. As I said, I don't understand people who don't understand the dynamics in Zimbabwe. ZANU-PF is the ruling party. It's a very, very strong ruling party. It's probably going to be the ruling party for at least the next 10 years. So I find it odd. I'm not even concerned about someone who says anything about ZANU-PF.
No, the problem is people are being indoctrinated into some societies. Like we have got the insult society, we have got hate society. So how we believe, right? To some people, they do not understand, because they are in an indoctrination of how they believe in, like which we spoke about in the insult society, whereby people believe that insulting somebody because they believe or support ZANU-PF, you can just insult them because they spend most of their time watching these Tatelijahs and the other ladies and what insulting each other for an hour, and they've got about 200,000 views, and that indoctrination, you see the impact of people being indoctrinated in that insult culture. So some people believe what they believe in because it's embedded in their mind. So they need to liberate themselves from their mind, but they fight with their mind. The mind is in control. They don't tell the mind what to do because the mind has been indoctrinated into the insult culture. Yeah. So
okay.
When you say that, yes, when you say that you don't believe people should not support ZANU-PF and stuff, they don't believe in that. because they have been indoctrinated into a culture of not thinking critically. That's the problem with the people, guys. Analyzing. You have to ask questions all the time. That's what I believe in.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Panganai Mhlanga. I'll be back tomorrow. And I want to go and try and get hold of my brother, Rutendo Benson Matinyarare. I want to see what is going to happen with the sanctions issue. So we want to look at whether the United States can be sued. Or
that's a great guy.
Yeah, so we want to see what can happen with the current people on the sanctions list. So let's see what happens tomorrow. If I get hold of him, we'll bring him here. We want to unpack the issues after the special rapporteur was in Zimbabwe, whether the people can now go to court and sue the United States and claim damages. It will be a very interesting episode if I get hold of him. And also, I think there's the sanctions from Burundi that were lifted. I think we want to have a look at those, why the United States lifted those sanctions.
Yeah, but my challenge, the pain in my life as an African is, what right do these guys have over us? Like even Burundi, what right do they have over us as Africans to impose sanctions on us? What right? Who gave them the right? Are they God?
Because we, as Africans, we are weak. We cannot organize ourselves as a group. That's why you see that if the United States put sanctions on certain countries, the whole country raises up and rejects the sanctions. In Zimbabwe, we are very weak and divided. There's someone right now who thinks that sanctions are benefiting them. They'll get into office because of sanctions, which is sad. It's unlike other countries like South Africa. South Africa, you could not come here and put sanctions on this country. No politicians who cause for sanctions would survive here. They would be eaten alive.
But political parties that actually speak sense to South Africans are being denounced. I think you heard Julius Malema when he said that if it is about losing the election because I'm standing by the foreigners, I would rather resign. You understand? But those people are being denounced by our own people. Our own people reject Julius Malema, who speaks sense to people, but they reject him. That's our challenge in Africa. We reject people who speak sense to us, because what we want in life is to be, we think life is just about us.
I think we must say our challenge in Zimbabwe. This is a uniquely Zimbabwean problem. There's no country in Africa with strange people like Zimbabweans, especially people in the opposition. I've never seen a country where a person would support sanctions in their own country.
But they do. They are a lot. They do. They actually insult us on our pages and stuff. When you denounce the sanctions, people insult us for that and say sanctions should remain. It's like, for example, just hypothetically speaking, paitwa China panapa, munhu ari kuti China ngaibviswe munhu ati China yese ngairambe iri ipapo. That's hypothetically speaking. That's our situation in Zimbabwe. Paitwa China, munhu ari kuramba kuti China ngaisabviswa, munhu ari kutaura kuti China ichida kucross road. Paitwa China ipapo. Munhu uri kutaura kuti hanzi China ngairese ngairambe iri ipapo. Munhu ari kutaura kuti China ngaibviswe. That's our situation, hypothetically speaking, but that's the basic example that I can give with sanctions. Kana paitwa China ngaibviswe. Asi mumwe munhu unenge uchisapota kuti China ngairambe iri ipapo. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Okay, Mr. Panganai Mhlanga, thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you again next week on Sunday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
Cheers.
my brother.
And good night to everybody.
Uyo, uko, kuno.